I hope you are doing well. Welcome to another episode of CareerCafe with Dr. Addy. I hope you are in good health and doing well wherever you are joining from. And call people to come in, please. Today we are, as you know, Canadian. And today we're talking about, immigration pathway to Canada. I only have 1 hour, so I may not be able to cover everything, but I would mention and we will come back and review different programs on a regular basis. Thank you to our new community members. I think in the last 2 weeks, I gained about 2,000 new followers, and a lot of the new followers came from my post that I made from when I said I've been in Canada for 10 years, and that post kind of just went out of my hands and had a lot of views. And that generated a lot of new people joining the community. And in the last 2 weeks, we've had questions from people asking, how do I migrate to Canada? What are the opportunities for me? Is this a possibility for me? So I thought, okay, let's just do a live session and be able to get our people some of those answers. Welcome. If you are new here, welcome to Career Cafe with Dr. Addy. If you're an old member, can you let us know where you are dialing in from? Where are you calling in from today? Let us know. Okay. Where are you joining in from today? Can you let us know where you're calling in from? All right. If you're new to the community, my name is Dr. Addy. I'm a career coach, and I am a digital transformation specialist. I have a full-time job working as a technical leader in an American company. And I come on here to hang out with people maybe once every week. And can you see me properly? I'm not sure if I can even see myself properly. This ring lights, I don't know. All right. Okay. Welcome everyone from Toronto, from Nigeria, from Ikorodu. Thank you for joining. All right, let's talk about, so we have a hot topic today. So like I said, we have new community members and people have been asking me, how do I move to Canada? You were there for 10 years, you have succeeded, I too need to go to Canada. So that's why we're having this session today. And I want to highlight a couple of pathways that for 2022 are good pathways to consider as you try to think about migrating to Canada. And I will start from the first one. So I have a list of them. So you see me looking down a little bit when I try to read a bit from my laptop. The Federal Skilled Worker Program, which is the FSW Express Entry Program, is the most common program that everybody knows about. I'm not sure if you know about it. If you don't know about the Federal Skilled Worker Program, you can put it online to be able to understand what is the Federal Skilled Program, a Federal Skilled Worker Program that I'm talking about. This program allows Canada to bring in foreign workers, professionals with high profile. They have screened for them to be able to come and permanently work, migrate permanently and work and live in Canada. And in the last, I would say, 5 years before COVID-19 started, this was the rave. Every young person in Africa, in Asia, they were taking advantage of this program to migrate to Canada. So if you're less than 30 years old, you have a master's degree, and you have 3 years of experience, this program highly favored those people a lot. So we saw a lot of people moving from Nigeria, moving from Ghana, moving from different parts of Africa, moving from Asia to Canada, who have those qualifications, can, or in some cases you are a little over 30, but maybe you have multiple degrees. That has helped a lot of people to migrate to Canada. So the FSW has been the most popular in the last, I would say, 7 to 8 years. Now, when COVID-19 happened, once COVID-19 happened in 2020, like this, December 2020, they truncated Express Entry. So from December 2020 up till now, we've not had, because of the pandemic, there has not been any draw. So when FSW was the rave, once every 2 weeks or once every month, there will be a draw. So they would pick certain people who fall in certain score band, and they would pick those people. So they will pick those people, and then those people, who are those people? All right, they'll pick those people, and those people will come in and, be able to apply. Those were the people, like I said, that was a good thing for many people. Many people were able to come into Canada and do well because of that. 2020 December, that process was a little truncated. So for the last 2 years, we have not had any express entry pool, any express entry pool movement, and people were asking, so what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to sit in the pool? And you know, every year, once it's your birthday, your points will drop. So people's points were dropping. And it wasn't really a good thing because especially if you were almost meeting up the point, then you lose another point because of your age. And nobody knew when the express entry was going to come back up. But this year, this year in April, I think on April 22nd, we heard from Canada that it would open back up the express entry process by early July. So 2 months from now, we are hoping that the pool opens back up. They start to pull people and, things get better again, pretty much. So that is for FSW. If you're currently in the pool and waiting, I think the wait is almost over. Maybe 2 months from now, things will be better. 2 months from now, there will be another, draw as we used to see in the past. So please look out for what happens in July if you're currently in the pool. If you're one of those people who haven't gotten in the pool because maybe for one reason or the other, you think, well, nothing is moving in the pool, I'll just sit. I think you should start to put your credentials together, go get your IELTS, go get your other criteria put together, make sure that you can do your maybe other things you need, what education service accreditation, do everything, get yourself in the pool because it's about to get serious again. Now, the second method that I have here that has been working even in the middle of the pandemic is the Provincial Nominee Program. The Provincial Nominee Program is pretty much independent of the express entry. Each province in Canada has the authority to bring in people that they need to bless their economy, to increase their economic power. So they could say, we want to bring in engineers, we want to bring in medical practitioners, they could say anything. So each province have their own ability to bring in people under the Provincial Nominee Program. And for the province, we have about 12 provinces. I'm trying to read from here. There are up to 80 Provincial Nominee Programs. Can you believe that? 80 provincial nominee programs to be selected from, which means, based on who you are, maybe you're a doctor, there could be certain provinces looking for you. Maybe you're a tech person, you have studied computer science or work in the tech industry, there could be certain provinces looking for you. Maybe you're an accountant, there could be certain province looking for you. So each province has multiple programs. I found this link very, very useful. I'm sharing my screen right now. I don't know whether you can see it. That after this program, I will find a way to put it on my story. So there is a portal that you can go to and you see different criteria and you can select the criteria to see what province need you. I put on something now for Ontario. For Ontario alone, these are the numbers of different provincial nominee programs that are possible for you. So Ontario is prioritizing human capital. So they're looking for certain people. So it could be maybe they're looking for more tech people in Ontario. So if you check under here, you'd see human capital is a critical thing for Ontario. So French-speaking worker also. Ontario has something for them. So if you're a French speaker, they're allowing French speakers to move into the province for one reason or the other. Skilled trades, they're also looking for certain people who don't have bachelor's degree, right? They don't have bachelor's degree, they have electrician, they are mechanic, they're looking for certain people in their province. So like I'm showing here, one province may have 7 programs. One province may have 10 programs to attract different people. Maybe they want international students, foreign workers. Maybe they want tech people. Maybe they want French speakers. Maybe they want people in trades. They may have multiple programs that you can look at under the Provincial Nominee Program. I'm saying this because when they say Provincial Nominee Program, most people think it's one particular program for one province. I think, you have to come back down the 80 list to see where exactly did you fall, which one will be the best province for you, based on your education, based on the work experience you have, and based on some other other criteria, like maybe you're an entrepreneur, right? So if you're an entrepreneur, Ontario is open for you, right? In this case, I will stop sharing this, and like I said, there is a link that I found, and I would put that link in my story after, so you can go you report, comment, block this person. Well, I don't know who these people are that are trying to spam my what is it today, so I'm going to try and report them and make sure that that's Instagram get to help me deal with them, because I don't know them from anywhere. And I don't know how another person who don't know me from anywhere, who hasn't, maybe they can put my name in Google so that they can understand who I am. Yeah, I see your comments. I should ignore them. Yeah, but I will block them instead of allowing them disrupt what we're doing here. Yeah, I'm gonna take a picture of this person's profile first and then block. And also report that comment. I'm sorry that. All right. Sorry for delaying us on that. So, as I was mentioning, it is very critical that when you're thinking of provincial nominee program, you don't box it all together. You look at the different programs, you analyze it, and be able to select which one is the best one for you. Like I said, I found this link. I will link it to my bio later, so that I'll link it to my story later, so that you can go in there, dig deep to really see for this different province. I'm a medical doctor. What province is looking for medical doctor? Is it 3 of them? What is the criteria to get in, so that you can look at whether that's a good option for you? I'm an accountant. Let me look at provinces seeking my expertise, so that you can look and do the right thing. Oh, I speak French. Okay, let me look at provinces like Ontario that are recruiting French people to come into the country. I'm an entrepreneur. Let me look at different provinces that are open to entrepreneurs to come into the country. I'm a business owner, a small business owner. Is there a province that can take me in? I'm an electrician. Is there a province that can take me in? Because it's not every province that wants professionals who have masters and PhD. There are provinces taking trade. So there are provinces considering people who are journeymen, who are electricians, who are mechanics, who are even cooks. So whoever you are, there could be a space for you in the express entry PMP and in the PMP program. So I want you to, once I put that link on, go and analyze your situation. Now, why do people always try to go through PMP? Like I said, PMP was running the entire 2 years from December 2020. We have had no draw on FSW. But PMP was still running. Every 2 weeks, different provinces were still pulling people from their pool. So when we had this pause, there was no pause on the PMP part. So that's one reason why a lot of people are considering PMP. So if you're sitting in the pool right now, I think you should get out of the pool and start to look for PMP programs that could be ideal for you. Another reason is if maybe your points are low. Right? Maybe you have a low point and you feel like, oh, my point is not up to 470. My point is not up to 480. So you feel like you will sit in the pool for a while before they can draw you for the Federal Skilled Worker Program. Then you can look at PMP. For example, for Alberta, the number of CRS score that you need to be eligible for Alberta Provincial Nominee Program is 300 points. 300 points. So that's low, right? So people who have just bachelors, who have maybe 2 years experience, and they can get into that if they have good IELTS score. You will get 300 points, right? So you may really be able to go through PMP if your points are low and you feel like you just sit in the express entry pool for too long. So you may want to check provinces like Alberta with 300 as their own cutoff for PMP. In addition to that, if you have low IELTS, right? I know so many people who have had to redo IELTS multiple times because they weren't scoring high. For example, for Quebec, the IELTS score for Quebec is CLB 4. CLB4 is what they're looking for. Imagine for the express entry pool itself is CLB8 that you need to have for you to feel confident that you have enough score for your English proficiency. For Quebec, they only need CLB4, so you don't have to be too proficient in English. If you score CLB4 or maybe CLB6 that you are hoping to go and rewrite IELTS, maybe you can look at Quebec. Quebec is a stream. If you go on my YouTube channel, I actually brought an expert in to talk about the Quebec program. How the PNP program works in Quebec is surreal. Is a good program. Is easier. Is paper-based, so you don't even have to be in the express entry pool before you actually go through the Quebec route. So I want you to look at different provinces, what they have to offer, because you may be sitting in the pool for so long, and what you're looking for could actually be with Quebec. Imagine Quebec is a French-speaking province, right? So a lot of time, people don't even check Quebec at all. They'll think, Quebec cannot be for me. I don't speak French. Guess what? With your English, without French, Quebec have a program for you that you can get in. Without you speaking French, if you have a spouse especially, your spouse will get points. You will get points. And they're looking, if you have studied some things, they give you more points for studying those things. And guess what? You could actually merit Quebec PNP program right now, and you have been sitting in that pool for nothing. And with a lower IELTS score, they will still love you like that, take you like that, without you speaking French at all. I'm saying this because I have analyzed this for multiple people, and we have seen that they can actually go to Quebec with their low IELTS score, with everything they have. They don't have too much work experience, they still get in. So what I'm saying in essence is multiple people are looking at the PNP program, not just because there is a delay in FSW. I think you should look at it if you have maybe low score because of age, maybe you only have a bachelor's, and for that reason you have low score. Or maybe your IELTS score is low. I want you to look at Quebec. I want you to look at Alberta. All the provinces have their own different programs. I want you to look at everyone and find where is the right province for me based on the programs available. I hope that helps. All right, the last one, the third one. Okay, working. So this has come up a lot to me. People will DM me and be saying, hey, doctor, can I get a job in Canada? Doctor, can I get a job in Canada without living there? I want a remote job in Canada. There are a couple of pathways when we're looking at jobs. Job in Canada is when you don't live in Canada. It's not an automatic thing. So if somebody is telling you, bring money, I'll get you a job in Canada, that could be fraud. Let's be honest with ourselves, because this process is very hard. It's very hard when we're thinking job in Canada. There are multiple processes for job in Canada. The first one is the LMIA. So in my own time, we used to call it labor market opinion, LMO. So when this happens, when an employer is looking for certain skill set, they can't find it within the country. Maybe they have advertised the job for 6 months and nobody is applying. So for that case, they have to go outside the country to hire an expert and bring the expert in. So you may fall under that category where you have special skill or there's this job that has been open and the company is willing to file LMIA for you. If they are willing to file LMIA for you, which is them telling the company in the government that we have advertised this job for a while. We have not gotten anybody to apply. So for that reason, we are deciding to bring this person from overseas to come and work here, and we will take care of this person. We will file papers for this person. If you're able to get such a job, working is possible in Canada through an LMIA. Like I said, the process is hard. It's hard to do because employers know they can always find people. Canada keeps bringing people in. So there are certain industries that I would say you may not need LMIA. For example, if somebody is studying, you did an MBA, you're a business development manager. And no company can justify that they advertise a business development manager role for 6 months and nobody applied. They cannot justify that. So if you're a business development manager, you can't sit down and say, okay, well, I'm trying to look for somebody to come and give me LMIA. That's not going to be possible. But it may be possible if you are a blockchain expert. It may be possible if you're a biomedical engineer, you are developing new product that goes into human body. They may have advertised the job for so long and nobody is actually applying. So depending on your field, LMIA may be a possibility or not. So you need to consider, what field am I in? Is my field that lucrative? Is it that competitive? Is it niche? Those are the criteria that you will need to really evaluate whether it's possible for a Canadian employer to actually be sending you a job offer and saying, we'll go and put our name on the line and tell the government that we want to bring you from Africa. Other areas is international mobility program. So if you work for a company that actually have a branch in your country, so let's say you work for Shell Nigeria, and there is also Shell Canada, and you want to transfer under the international mobility program, within 2 weeks, that can be a possibility if your company say yes. Because the company has a branch in Canada, so they can actually allow you to go and work in their Canadian branch, and in the process, you get your papers. So if you are one of those working for multinational companies in Ghana, in Nigeria, in Rwanda, or anywhere else, and you are on here today, please go ahead and look at internal opportunities in Canada and see whether there is possibility for you to cross over to your Canadian branch under the International Mobility Program. This may be easier for you to do than trying to go through LMIA. So I'm saying this because some of you work with Shell, Chevron, you work with different companies, Intel in Nigeria, you work with different big companies, right? So look internally for what opportunities are available in Canada, push for the possibility for them to file for you under the International Mobility Program. And before you know it, this process takes 2 weeks. 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, you may get your permanent resident to move to your Canadian branch if this is a thing that your company is open to. Another one is the foreign worker hiring process that different provinces consider. So there are some provinces that are actually looking for certain workers. So on their website, they have companies with openings, and you can go to those companies and look at their job boards and see what do they have available. Can I go ahead and apply? And there could be a possibility that some of the companies on their job boards may actually file papers for you to relocate to Canada. So as we know, yeah, it is a hard process, but there are some companies that have actually put themselves on there saying we are open to foreign workers, we are willing to file for those people. In certain provinces, this is a possibility that companies are doing that. So you may want to look at what province am I going? Is that program a possibility in the province I'm going? Who are those employers? What type of resources are they needing? What type of talent are they hiring? Do I fall into that category? There's a little bit of an evaluation that you need to do to be able to see whether you fit into the category. If you ask me today, what is the best pathway for anybody to migrate to Canada today that further skilled worker is not open back? The best method that I think personally is schooling. Schooling has opened the door for everybody, especially because of the issue with FSW not moving, Canadian experience class not moving, PMP is moving, right? But not as fast as other programs. The schooling has allowed so many people, even in the last 2 years, to still be able to migrate to Canada. And schooling in Canada, it has different grades, right? You can come for an undergrad, you can come for a postgraduate certificate program, you can come for a postgraduate diploma program, you can come for a master's degree program, you can come for a PhD program. There are multiple opportunities for schooling in Canada. And for schooling in Canada, you may be under those category of people that get scholarships for their school, or self-funded people who didn't get scholarship or who have chosen to fund themselves to come to Canada. So depending on your category, you have to think, okay, do I want to leave fast? Some of my clients that come and have consultation with me, they will tell me, doctor, I want to leave Nigeria by the end of the year. What is my best pathway? I'm tired of this country. I just want to go like that. But I will also meet people who say, I'm not in a rush. I want the path that's going to be easy for me to bring my family with me, to settle him appropriately. Depending on your situation, if you may choose schooling, you may not choose schooling. I've also gotten questions about, will my age affect my schooling? I am already 40, I'm already this age. We have worked with clients who are 50. So age is never a barrier. In Canada, age, where you are from, are things that do not play any role in selecting you to come to Canada or when you are looking for a job. So you don't have to worry about your age. You don't have to worry about anything related to your biodata, whether you're a female, whether you have children. All of those do not play any role when you are trying to apply to school. It doesn't play a role whether they would allow you or give you admission or not. Now, when we're talking about schooling, I think one of the things I still share today on my page is what type of programs should I choose? And a lot of time when people want to migrate to Canada, they just take any course at all, just to leave the country. I want to say any course at all to leave the country should not be the approach you take. I think any course at all, because it's not about just leaving the country. When you get to the country you are going to, you have to be able to thrive there. You have to be able to settle down there. You have to be able to do well in those countries that you have selected. So you have to really think about, what should I study that will open doors for me in Canada, that will allow me to actually get a good job when I'm done. And you have to keep one thing in mind. When we're thinking schooling, a lot of time people just apply to any school. There are schools that have designated learning institute. When you finish schooling in Canada, they will give you a work permit. When you work in Canada for 1 year, then you have an opportunity to apply for your permanent residence under Canadian experience class. So you have had 1 year experience working in Canada, and then you can now apply for your permanent residence. Now, we have to think about, I've seen a case of people who have gone to schools that are not designated learning centers. If you go to school and that school happens to not be a designated learning center, what happened to you is that you do not get the postgraduate work permit. So you have just come to Canada and study and go back to your home country because Canada will not give you the work permit. So we have to be careful there. Every school that you are looking at, please go online and check whether it is a designated learning institution. If it is not a designated learning institution, no matter how cheap the price of that school is, carry your bata, run. Run, because that will not be the type of school that you want to apply for. So please make sure your school is designated learning center. Something to keep in mind is the duration of the program will determine the amount of years of work permit that you will get when you're done. So if you do a 1 year postgraduate certificate program, which I also do not have a problem with, you will receive a 1 year work permit, a 1 year postgraduate work permit when you are done with your program. If you do a 2 year master's degree or a 2 year diploma program, you would receive a 3 year work permit when you're done. You know, I have had people come to me and say, Doctor, people say I should not do the 1 year postgraduate certificate program, that I don't stand a good chance, I should do a 2 year program. You know, one thing I tell people is, if you finish your program, if you go to school and you don't get a job in 1 year, you have studied the wrong program. Period. You have studied the wrong program. If within 1 year of graduating from a program, you were not able to land a job, that is a wrong program. So what I'm saying to you is 1 year certificate program, if that's what you can afford, if it is in a lucrative field that you actually check with someone, they said this, checked with a career coach to help you analyze that career path, and they said that's a good, strong career path for you. You have a lot to leverage. And this is a career path that is very competitive in the country. That means if you graduate from that program, within 3 to 4 months, you will land a job. If you land a job, you're already working and your work permit is about to expire. The Canadian immigration will increase, they would increase the time from 1 year. They'll give you another work permit because you're out of job. So I want to say this, that don't be afraid to choose a 1 year certificate program if that's what you can afford. We all know what the exchange rate is saying right now. So saying to people to go and get a 2 year master's or a 2 year diploma because they want to get a 3 year work permit, I don't think it is a one size fits all. I think we have to consider what is your pocket saying. Number two, there are some programs that you don't need a master's to actually get a good job. With your bachelor's or with a certificate program, if you have, one thing I like about Canada is a skill-based country. Canada is not a respecter of your PhD, right? I have a PhD and I wrote out today that since I finished my PhD, the core biomedical engineering part of my PhD, tissue engineering, I have not used it to date. I've not used it at all. It's like I've not used my PhD at all. Why? Because Canada is not looking for certificate. They're looking for expertise. They're looking for skill sets. They're looking for technical competence. So if you do a one-year certificate program and you are able to get a very good competence, you are able to get it done in a particular field that is lucrative, and you get all the skills and tools, within 2 months of you graduating, you should get a good job. And that means you didn't spend 2 years, that is, you saved 1 year, you save money as well. You didn't have to find money for 2 years program, which include you feeding yourself, you paying tuition. So feel free to consider the right 1 year postgraduate certificate program. Feel free to consider it. Feel free to get to a career coach to help you plan that journey. I think you'll be fine. If you are that person who is a typical Nigerian who wants a master's, by fire, by force, is a master's, please go ahead and get your master's, right? If you're that kind of person who feel like it's an MBA that you need, please go ahead and get your MBA. But your MBA and the person who gets a 1 year master's in business analytics, you still go and compete. That person still stand a chance to get a job before you at the end of the day. So we need to just understand that getting a 3-year work permit does not give you any advantage on the job market when you are searching for a job. And whoever get a job will get a chance to stay back in Canada, apply under Canadian experience class. So I think it is better we prioritize the competitiveness of the program, the ability of this program to fetch you a good job after you graduate, over the number of years of the course and over whether it's a master's or a PhD or a certificate program. If you do the right course, if you do the right program, yes, you will get a good job. You will stay back in Canada. You will apply under Canadian experience class. You will get your permanent residence for you and your family. I hope I had my submission on that. So right now, school is a good path to go to Canada. If you're going to school and you are in the category of I study sciences, I think there are multiple opportunities for scholarships for people in sciences. It is sad, but that is the truth. I can hardly point to one particular school that will fund an MBA, that will give you a fully funded MBA in Canada. I cannot point to one particular school that will do that, but I can point to 50 schools that will offer you fully funded masters in biomedical engineering, fully funded masters in biotechnology, fully funded masters in data science, fully funded masters in microbiology, because Canada is focusing on researching in these areas. There are fully funded opportunities for them. But the people in social sciences also could get fully funded programs. So people who are in development, people who are in linguistics, people who are in some different social sciences are getting a lot of scholarships as well. That being said, because people usually approach and say, doctor, what about people in education? Yes, there's scholarship for them. People in law, yes, there's scholarship for a lot of people in law as well. So there are schools that offer those scholarships, but when it comes to business degrees, it is harder to find scholarship for business degrees. So business degrees, I've had that K-leg for a bit, that scholarships are very hard to find, but everybody else, there is opportunity depending on the school, and the opportunities may be full funding or partial funding, and then you would have to do graduate assistantship and stuff like that. So I am pro-education. I am a pro-education because that's the pathway that took me to Canada. I went to Canada to do my PhD. And in my second year, I already got my permanent residence, because during the time when I went to Canada, we had what we call the PhD stream. So if you're doing your PhD, you already have a master's, you can apply for permanent residency. That's how I got my residency. Before express entry was a thing, that was how I got in. So when it comes to school, I have seen this does wonders for people. It has done wonders in my life, and I got scholarship in my case because I'm in biomedical, I'm in sciences, so it was not too hard to find a scholarship. But everybody's case is different, right? On a case-by-case basis, these things are treated. People who have opportunities to get scholarships the most are people who haven't left academia for too long to go and work. There are people who have left academia to go and work. So you have gone to work for 15 years, you have gone to work for 10 years, or you have even gone to work in another field. It may be a hard sell, but maybe there is still possibility for you. In my case, I finished master's, and I came to apply for PhD right away. So there is traces of continuous research in my life. That makes it easy for me to be able to attract the right scholarships easily. So if you're trying to seek scholarship, we have to really be able to assess your credential and say, when was the last time you published a paper? When was the last time you did research? Is what you are doing in your bank, is that considered research? Are you still having to contribute to the body of knowledge? Who knows you in the industry? All of those things will play a role whether you can get scholarship. Not everybody can get scholarship. You can't just come and say, I want a scholarship in business analytics. I want a scholarship for MBA. I want a scholarship for marketing analytics. You are not going to get those scholarships. I hope you know. In Canada, you will not. So let's be clear on that, because expectations are very critical. So, but if you have studied botany, you have studied zoology, you still have stresses of research in your work. You have studied engineering, you have studied physics. You have studied chemistry. Recently, I started seeing on my post where some people are commenting and saying, oh, I studied chemistry, I regretted studying that. Chemistry will open opportunities for you in multiple industries. And chemistry have a good chance for you to get funding if there has been traces of funding in your life and your career. So don't throw chemistry away. There is nothing wrong with chemistry. It's a very good career path. I studied physics, right? When we were growing up, I remember being told that I will end up and be a teacher. You know, people, when I tell people that I was studying physics when I was in college, when I was in university in Nigeria, people will look at me and say, do you want to be a teacher? Is that what you want to end up as? You know, because a typical African think basic science like chemistry, like biology, like physics, that we're not going to be successful. But that until you become an engineer, that you will not be successful if you do basic science. That is not the case. Basic science are opening doors for people to get scholarship abroad. So I want you to keep that in mind. Now, any question? If you have any question for me, you can put them in the question box so that I can help you answer those questions. Because I've just been talking, and I would like to take some of the questions from you guys, because I promised that I was going to do that. You please put the question in the question box if you have any question, and I will. Let's answer a few questions before we continue. Okay, in the question box, I'm looking in the question box. I'm yet to see questions. So if you have any question, drop them before I continue. Sorry, my nails are long. Somebody said that my CRS is 400. Which will you advise, school or French? Okay, if your CRS score is 400, I think you should look at PMP programs. Like I said to you, Alberta's cutoff criteria for PMP is 300, right? And in the pool, in the FSW pool, they're not picking people who are in the range of 400. They are picking people, and when they start now, they'll be picking people who are like 470 up. So if you stay in the pool waiting for it to come down to 400, you are sitting on a long thing. It may not come down to 400 for another 5 years. So there's no point for you to just sit in the pool with a score of 400 and thinking that magic is going to happen. I think you should go and consider some of these other pathways that we've talked about. PMP programs, look at the different PMP options and see what is best for you. Or you can add French, right? If you can go and increase your score by your score by going to learn French and adding that to your portfolio. You can do that, or you can consider PMP program, or you can consider the school pathway, right? You can consider academic pathway and see whether that will work for you. Another question. I have background in HR, over 21 years experience. I have a PR and I'm landing in July. What are the prospects? I cannot tell you for a fact because I haven't seen your resume. So an HR is broad, right? Under HR, there is people analytics, there is there's people analytics, there is recruiting, there are different branches of HR. So we need to be able to evaluate your credentials to see what area of HR, there is benefits and compensation and different area. Benefits and compensation is under HR, but is more calculation based, right? And people analytics is a new area of HR. There is other things like recruiting and all that. So we need to know what area of HR have you been focusing on? Is that something that is lucrative within the country today? And apart from HR, we need to know what else have you studied? Is there any other career opportunities that you can consider based on everything that you have? holistically so that we can, if HR will not work, what else will work? And if HR will work, we want to understand for the Canadian market, how do you position yourself as an HR specialist? What should you prioritize? What should you put there that is being sought after today? Then I think you should book, if you are one of those people interested, you should book you should be booking sessions with me right now where we can work together to evaluate your credentials, to really be able to look at the area of HR that you are in. Is that the one that is dying out? Or is that the one that is new? Is it competitive? What does the market require? Then if you have it, then we know you do. If you don't have it, so that we can already start to help you understand what is it that you need to quickly add to your portfolio to be competitive for HR job. And like I said, if there are other opportunities for you, then we can look at what other career opportunities should you be considered outside of HR that would work for you. So somebody said, my challenge with the PMP is that some of us in licensed professions are required to get licenses. You are absolutely correct about that. I'm an engineer by profession, and I remember that because I'm an engineer by profession, when I used to live in Saskatchewan, I had to really register myself under the APEX body, which is the Association of Professional Engineers and Geoscientists of Saskatchewan. I have to be registered with them. I have to become a professional engineer with them. Now, I would say this, when we're thinking about all of these programs, one thing you need to keep in mind is you are not moving to Canada in a rush. When you're dealing with PMP programs, you're dealing with express entry program, this cannot happen in a rush. You have to be ready to invest money, you have to be ready to invest time, you have to be ready to invest everything. So if your certificate has to be regularized, maybe because you're a doctor, you're an engineer, you're a pharmacist, please take your time to start the process. Please take your time to do the process. And like we talked about, some of the provinces are actually looking for you. There are provinces looking for nurses, looking for doctors, looking for engineers of different kinds, looking for accountants, looking for chefs, looking for any different things. So I think you should, no pain, no gain, my sister. So I understand your pain, but I would say, please take your time to get your all your credentials really evaluated, and hopefully you will be able to find the right province for you. It's not going to be a fast game, so I would say wherever you are, you want to already also have something you're doing. And something to keep in mind, especially for medical professions or some other professions, or like law. If you come into Canada today as a lawyer through the Express Entry program or any of these PMP programs, that you actually get your regularization done and you were able to get in, you can't practice as a lawyer immediately. You can't practice as a doctor immediately. You have to go through some learning process that could take 3 years, that could take 2 years. So wherever you are, you can already find what is my other alternative that I can learn, so that when I get to Canada, I can get a job and be doing something while I try to write my new country's licensing exam. If for medical doctors, maybe you need to write 3 stages of licensing exam over a 2-year period. We don't expect that you sit at home and not do anything for that 2 years. We're expecting that you get a job. So you can also be trying to understand, what type of job can I get? What is available for me? I don't want to go and do menial job for 2 years. Can I have another career that I can focus on when I enter while I'm writing my licensing exam? I think your game is not a fast game. I'm moving to Canada tomorrow. It's going to be a little logical, but I think you should also be thinking about what you can do when you're there. I am still looking at questions. I worked in 3 multinationals. My background was HR and law. Please, kindly expatiate on what I can do with data analytics degree, and also can you put me through a certification I need? Do you already have a data analytics degree that you want to know what you can do with that, or you are trying to go and get a data analytics degree? Another person asked, Dr. Addy, please, is it too late to apply for September 2022 admission? I think it's absolutely too late for most of the programs. For most program, admitting international students is absolutely too late. For local students, if you're already in Canada, may be possible for you to still get in if you're already a local student. But if you're an international student, it takes time to process the visa. So it may be, it's most admission for September 2022, they're already closed right now. There are some schools that have January admission and some have also May admission. So you may want to consider if there are January admission that you can apply for. For anyone considering January admission, most of the schools are accepting people for January. They are still open right now. So instead of September 2022, please consider January admission. Go look at the schools who have opportunities for you to come in January and try to focus on those. Maybe those would be that would be your better option, because September 2022 is already like a lost battle. Thank you. Sorry, my nails are a little long this time, so I am not able to pick. All right, another question. Is it possible to get a visitor's visa and look for scholarship while visiting? As I mentioned previously, I think it is, when we're thinking about scholarship, we have to think about what program are you applying to. Not every program have opportunities for scholarship. And I'm not going to tell anybody to come to Canada as a visitor and try to stay there, try to change your stuff there. It's too stressful. It's too stressful, because what if the process is a little longer because of maybe some backlog? Now you are almost turning yourself into a legal person within the country. I think I wouldn't advise you to come on a visitor's visa, because you cannot work on a visitor's visa. If you come on a visitor's visa, you will come and be spending money that you should have put into your application process for the program. Why should you bring it and spend it as a visitor and waste it there when you know you cannot work within Canada? I don't think that is a good thing to do. I think it's better for you to stay where you're at, apply for the program you want to apply for, make sure it's a program that matches your background and competitive in the new country, and make sure that you do your process in your house where you are not really scared whether they will pick you or not and wasting money paying rent, eating, and spending the money that could have followed you to Canada as part of your tuition. All right. Hi, Dr. Addy. I got my PR and landing in June. For now, I'm landing in Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan is my home city. That's where I went to school, and that's where I got my PR. So if you ask me where I'm from in Canada, I'm from Saskatchewan. So welcome home, my brother. I studied computer science, and I've been in banking as an IT auditor for the past 5 years. What are the chances, and what province would you advise? Also, looking to go back to school and study data science. For this person, the first advice I want to give you is, before you start to go back to school, what you have already may be good enough. I think you should talk to a career coach. I don't think going back to school is a decision you need to make right now. I think the first decision you need to make is somebody evaluating your credentials for you to see what is best for you to do in Canada, and whether what you have, because you have a lot right now, whether what you have can get you a good job. So please do not go back to school when you do not need it. Do not go back to school when it's not necessary, because that's waste of time, waste of money, and all that. So let somebody evaluate your credentials, evaluate what you bring to the table, see what opportunities are available for you, and then you move forward from there. So I talked to one of my clients yesterday, a client that I'm really proud of. So this person came to Canada on that Provincial Nominee program. And when he came to Canada on that Provincial Nominee program, the province that gave him the stuff was Saskatchewan. And he went to Saskatchewan. In that same Saskatchewan, his salary is almost $100,000. He didn't have no Canadian experience. He didn't have no education from Canada. And he was able to get a very good job. And I can tell you, I have several clients who actually did their first job were remote work. They got remote work. I had another person who also just migrated to Canada this 2 months ago. I think we share her testimonial on our page. She just migrated to Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan gave her a Provincial Nominee program. And she got a job with a company in Ontario. And she's also making about $100,000. And she didn't move to Ontario. So she's in Saskatchewan working remotely for a company in Ontario. So I'm saying this to you because you are saying, I want to go back to school. There are people who have come to Canada as a permanent resident, they didn't have to go back to school. So before you start to make that claim, I need to go back to school, talk to someone. Number 2 question for you is, why are you going to Saskatchewan? If you are just going to Saskatchewan because you know somebody there, not because you got a job there, not because you think there are opportunities there, I think you should have an open mind in regards to where you want to go. You should be talking to a career coach right now. Maybe you can even start to get interviews before you land in Canada. So don't go to Saskatchewan with him. If you have a maybe your permanent residence is not tied to any province. No, it's not a provincial nominee program that you did. So don't just say it has to be Saskatchewan. You may be going to Saskatchewan because you have family members there right now, but be talking to a career coach right now because your destination may be BC. Your destination may be Ontario. Your destination may be Alberta. Wherever you get a job, that is your home. Your home cannot be Saskatchewan if truly Saskatchewan didn't give you the permanent residence. If it was federal, make it federal. Open your opportunities across the country and not just Saskatchewan. If Saskatchewan gave you that permanent resident, you can still make it federal, so you can still get remote jobs in other parts of Canada, where you live in Saskatchewan, and there are jobs in Canada, in Saskatchewan as well, as I just previously explained to you here. All right, let's see. I said I want to spend 1 hour, so I have 4 more minutes, so I'm not sure if I can take more questions today. So somebody's asking, hi doctor, if my wife got student visa, will it be profitable for me? So what I usually advise people is, if your wife is coming to study in Canada, for example, when your wife gets to Canada, when she's studying 6 months later, she can apply for you. If she applies for you and you come to Canada, you will come with an open work permit. Open work permit meaning you can work in Canada for 40 hours. You can support your wife and your kids if you have kids, okay? So I'm telling you, if you push your wife and pay for her and she's able to come to school in Canada, it will be profitable for you because she will apply for you. You can come and now be working full time. And if you get a good job and work full time for 1 year, you will be the one to now apply for the permanent resident for the entire family under the Canadian Experience class. So in the end, it's a win-win for your family to sponsor your wife to come ahead of you, and then you come and join her, you start working full time. And then by the time you work for 1 year, you apply for permanent residence for the entire family. So you get to be the man. At the end, it pays you a whole lot to sponsor your wife. So if you are on here, you're a married man, you are thinking, should I sponsor my wife to go to Canada? Please do. Sponsor your wife, and she will take your kids with you. You will stay back at home for a bit, because if all of you apply, they may deny the visa and say that you don't have any tie back home. Or if you stay back 6 months later, she may apply for you. And if you get the visa, you will come in with an open work permit. You can work full time. If you work for 1 year, you apply for permanent resident for the entire family. You win. Your family wins in the end. I'm saying this because sometimes as a family, when we're trying to go back to school, we have to evaluate who should go. Not just because I'm a man, that's why I should go, right? Let's evaluate who has the best opportunity. Whoever has the best opportunity, let the person go first. And when the person gets there, the person will file for the other person, and the other person will come and be working full time. And by the time the other person works for 1 year, you apply for your permanent residence as a family, and everything will be clear and everything will be well. I hope that answered that question for that person. So I will spend maybe 10 more minutes, because I want to talk about, we talk about school. I want to talk about other pathways. I'm not going to go in depth, but apart from the pathways I explained, there are other pathways to come to Canada. There is definitely the asylum refugee seeking pathway. There are people who come to Canada on refugee claims. As you know, for example, Ukraine is going through a war right now, right? So Canada is opening its border for people from Ukraine to come in as asylum seekers, as refugees into the country. And I can tell you that I know a couple of people who also migrated to Canada who are Africans under the refugee claims. And so that is also a possibility. It is not illegal to migrate to Canada as a refugee. It is not illegal, because as Africans, we frown when we heard the word refugee. People frown. People start to wonder, hey, Kinikon, yeah, there are people who have valid claims as refugee who can migrate to Canada from Nigeria. There are people who have been kidnapped before. There are people who have gone through so many things. They are allowed to file claims as refugees. So it's not only people from Ukraine that Canada is taking Africans, Canada is taking people who have gone through stuff that need and had humanitarian crisis, and people who are coming in as refugees and an asylum seeker into the country. And I know several people who have come in and have gotten their permanent residence and are now working full-time and doing well for themselves. So that's an option too. Another option is Canada Startup Visa. So Canada gives people who are interested in creating startup to migrate to Canada. So if you're one of those very ambitious entrepreneurs who are looking at starting a business, or who have started a small company, you have a startup in Nigeria, you have a startup in Ghana, you have a startup in the UK, and you want to move to Canada, there is opportunity for you to move to Canada under the startup visa category. Please look at that, as this may be a good option for you. Quebec Entrepreneur Program. So Quebec, the province of Quebec, apart from the startup program, the province of Quebec has a program specifically for entrepreneurs who wants to come and live and work in Quebec. This is another opportunity for somebody who has a small business, for somebody who's an entrepreneur, so for somebody who has a startup who is looking at migrating to Canada. There is another program apart from the startup visa program, which is the entrepreneur program, that you can consider. Another one is self-employed program. So all of these three, I put them under, there was the working one that I talked about. This one, I put it under business. So self-employed program. So there are self-employed programs for people who are already running their business. You have a cake business in Nigeria that you are running. You have an event management program that you are running. You have a plumber or a plumbing company that you are running in Nigeria. You have different types of company that you are running as a small business. There is a program for you under the self-employed program. It's just only you that is doing your plumbing, but you have certification. You can show that it's a business that has been running. There is program for you. Please, the cake that you have been baking, you register it under CAC in Nigeria. You have a business account. Money has been going in and coming out of that business account. The event planning company that you run, money has been going out and coming into the accounts. You are paying your taxes to FRIS in Nigeria. You have it registered. There is a program for you to come to Canada as well. So it's not everybody that will go to school or be a professional to come to Canada. Business people are welcome. Entrepreneurs are welcome. People with startup are welcome. People with small businesses are welcome, no matter how small it is. If it is planned properly, you can use it to come to Canada. Lastly, there is the Atlantic Immigration Program. It is like a PMP program, but it's a standalone program. If you go on my YouTube channel, you will also see video where we broke down. I brought somebody. We broke down the Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program, so you can go and watch that YouTube video. Like I said, if you're looking for for any video on the French PMP program, there is a very good French PMP program video on my YouTube channel. I brought an expert who is an RCIC who focused solely on Quebec. I brought him, he broke down the process. Go and watch it so that you can know the method. If you are looking for the AIPP program, there is also a video on my YouTube channel that explains all of this. Please go on there, watch it, digest it. If you're looking for job, how do I get a job in Canada? I did a video with Tunde Tash exactly today, 2 years ago. Exactly this day, 2 years ago. If you go on my YouTube channel, that video is on there. It broke down how do you get a job in Canada from outside Canada. That video broke it down. So I'm not able to talk about it because there is a video on my YouTube channel for that. Go and watch that video. How do I get a job from outside Canada? It's well documented. Tunde and I did a great job breaking down the processes for you. So go and watch that. Like I said, the link for PMP evaluation for you to know what province is the right one for me based on my education, work experience, I will put it in my story after this. And I would take, I think For everything, that is all the processes. I will read them again from the beginning. The first one we talked about was the Federal Skilled Worker Program. It's being paused right now. It's starting back. No, I forgot to talk about the Canadian Experience class, but it is for people who are already in Canada anyway, because you're already in the country, you have worked for 1 year. But let's recap everything. We talked about the Federal Skilled Worker Program. It's been paused from December 2020, and the government said they will reopen it by early July. Let's hope people in the pool are waiting. Start checking your credentials. If you have not entered the pool, try to enter. The second one is the Provincial Nominee Program. We talked about how across the 12 provinces, there are about 80 programs, and there is going to be one for you. No matter your age, no matter what you have studied, no matter your level of education, no matter your experience, there are PNP programs for you. You need to take the time to find out which one is the best program for you. And I will link a tool that you can use to evaluate. I will put it in my story. The third one we talked about was the student route. We broke that down into multiple student route opportunities that are possible. And then we talked about the working route, where we talked about LMIA, International Mobility Program, foreign worker hiring process. Then we talked about the business program. Under business, we have the Canada Startup Visa, Quebec Entrepreneur Program, the Self-Employed Program, the three major ones. We talked about the Refugee Program, and lastly, we talked about the Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program. These are the programs that I feel like for 2022, there are other programs, but for 2022, to migrate to Canada, these are the ones that, based on my research, I think you should consider, because they are programs that I think today has momentum. And as I explained, if you ask me which one is the, quote unquote, the best, that is easier for everybody, is the student route that I am advocating for, because not everybody has a company, not everybody has a business, and not everybody can speak French, right? So I feel like with what you have, with your credentials, no matter what you have, you can still get into a school in Canada. Yes, some people will look at me and say, Dr. Addy is expensive. There are places where you can get loans. People are using different organizations to get loans to fund their school. And if you do a competitive program, and when you graduate, you start to make at least 90K a year. If you're making 90K a year, and there is no way you are not able to pay back that loan that you have borrowed in 18 months. You will pay it back. So at the end of the day, no pain, no gain. Now, and some people will get scholarship like I did and used to come to Canada. So that's another option. So I am advocating, I'm saying, despite all this multiple stuff, I'm not going to say go and lie to be a refugee when you're not a refugee, right? So I'm saying what is easier to get to Canada through is education, whether it is by scholarship, whether it's by, family members funding you or getting loan. Just do the right course. You may be able to do well. Now, let me take one or two more questions, and then we will wrap it up today. And thank you for being here. Okay. I'm looking through the question. So somebody's asking, is it advisable for a BSc in education older to apply for a diploma in practical nursing in Canada? The question I always ask for people who always just say, I'm going to do nursing, is why nursing? Because in our community today, the last client I talked to before this meeting, he just landed in Canada about a month ago. And once he got to Canada, he's living in Ontario, Etobicoke. Everybody is telling this man to go and do nursing. Everybody is telling him, do nursing, or they're telling him menial job. They're telling him about menial job. Why did you choose nursing? You have a degree in education. Why is nursing your option? Education and nursing, they're not similar at all. Nursing is in sciences, education is not. How did you come about the nursing that you want to come and study in Canada? Is it because somebody told you that is what you should do without assessing your credentials? I don't want you to do follow at all. If you are choosing a program, it has to have been chosen based on market research and not based on the fact that all the Africans are telling you that's what you should do. If Africans are very, if we have opened our mind, we wouldn't have a lot of poverty among us anymore, because there are so many new fields, there are so many areas that are thriving in Canada right now, apart from nursing. And if nursing is what you chose, and if you have chosen that because somebody is forcing you to, or somebody is telling you about it, I think you should speak to a career coach. And if there is anyone on here who is being forced to go and do nursing because your auntie did it or your auntie said so, I think you should tell them you want to talk to a career coach first before you make that decision. Because why nursing? This person already have a bachelor's in something else and want to go back to go and restart nursing from the beginning, from practical nurse. You want to throw yourself back without, why? Why should you do that? Right? So talk to somebody first, talk to a career coach, not a family member, before you make that decision. Good luck with your decision, and thank you for asking that question. Doctor, is neuroscience a good career path? As my daughter insisted on this course, though in UK, she should sign up for the career counseling. How can you help mentor her? Undergraduate, please. I mentor a lot of undergrads on my program. In fact, people who are coming out of high school, their parents will register them so that I can help them choose the right career path. Why does your daughter want to do neuroscience? I'm not sure, right, whether she should be doing neuroscience. We need to analyze to see the lucrativity of neuroscience. One thing to keep in mind is this: if she's studying neuroscience, for her to be able to stand tall in neuroscience, she will need at least a master's or a PhD. She needs a PhD practically. So if she wants to do neuroscience, she should be ready to study and study and study until that PhD level, because we are talking about science of the brain and the spinal cord, and nobody is going to allow anybody make mistakes. So they make sure you go to multiple schools, get a whole lot of education and understanding before you can start to practice that. And when she finishes and wants to practice, what does she want to practice as? Because you can't just say, I want to study neuroscience. So when you finish, what will you now become? Where will you now work? What type of work will you look for? I think she needs to be talked to. Please feel free to register with me so I can ask her these questions, because she's insisting she wants to study neuroscience. Let me ask her, when you graduate from school, what do you want to work as? So that she can actually take a step back and look at things beyond what she wants to study, which means what will you use it for when you are done? How many years is required for me to become an expert so I can even use it at all? I think all of those conversations need to be had with her before she make that choice that she wants to study neuroscience. And this is one of the things I published today. Africans just go ahead, we choose a course because it sounds fancy. We choose a course because our uncle did it before. We choose a course because somebody in our neighborhood said that's what we should study, without considering what is the lucrativity of that course. When I finish with that course, what will I be? Imagine somebody who did an MBA. So you study an MBA. So when you finish with an MBA degree, there is no job title, right? So if somebody study biology, they become biologist. If you study mechanical engineering, you become a mechanical engineer. When you study an MBA, who do you become? Jack of all trades. And that is why I tell people, you can't just do an MBA without specialization, because when you graduate from an MBA program, it does not make you anything. So we have to think about, what do you want to be before you select an MBA? If an MBA is going to propel you to go where you want to go, then we can do that. There are so many people who finish with an MBA degree and they don't know what type of job should I be applying for, because there was no automatic, is mechanical engineering, I become a mechanical engineer. It's not like that. Same thing with neuroscience. When she finishes, what is she going to work as? If there is no clarity, so let her talk to someone to help her see that the big picture is what you do with that degree when she's done, not just getting in. Thank you. Everyone, this is where I stop today. Thank you so much for joining. We had a rough patch at the beginning. I don't know where they send the trolls from. I've never had any trolls on my page, not to talk of my live program. Well, that kind of made me start to wonder what's going on. Who are these people? But I'm happy that we're able to still have our session today. I hope this has been able to help you. I will share this video on my page, and hopefully my team will also upload it to YouTube. And at some point, I think one after the other, I can come and talk about each of this program. I can take, maybe if you guys want, please, when I post this video, if you have questions, still go and ask your question. I'll try and get to it. If you want me to do sessions on each of these programs, maybe startup visa, Canada startup visa, for example, or you want me to come and talk about maybe self-employed programs,
just let me know and I can come back and treat each of these programs one after the other. We break it down, we share slides, I want you to understand the different pathway for you. Thank you so much for sticking with me today. I appreciate your time. I look forward to seeing you again next weekend on Career Cafe with Dr. Addy. If you need to book mentorship session with me, we have sales going on right now. We have 20% off until tomorrow because in the US, we're having Memorial Day weekend. So please take advantage of that, especially for those of you who are students or living in Nigeria or other parts of Africa that money is hard to get. We have 20% off on the program. Come talk to me before you make that decision. Talk to a career coach. Before you make that decision on, whether you should go here or there, talk to someone. Sometimes the person you need is not your family member because it is what it is. Family member will tell you what they know, but they haven't done a lot of research in those areas. Talk to a career coach to help you so that your journey can be faster. To the new immigrants coming to Canada, I saw a lot of, I'm coming. Before you come, you need to be talking to me right now. We need to be talking to each other to find out what you need to do so that when you come to Canada, you will not be there 5 months, paying rent, feeding, and there is no job for you. Let's make sure that we start your process before you leave Africa so that we can make sure on arrival, there is a job for you a month after, or before you arrive, you get an offer so that when you get into Canada, you start to spend Canada money straight away. And you don't go back and start from the ground. People telling you go and do many a job. It shouldn't be your portion. To all of you who joined today, I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you sticking with me and coming here every weekend to listen to me. To the new community members who are joining us, welcome on board. This is what we do every Sunday or Saturday or Friday, depending on when I have time. Educate Africans, educate people worldwide, non-Africans, to make sure that we can get opportunities for our people. I'm a career coach and I'm a technologist. I studied biomedical engineering, and my life I use as an example to every immigrant to let them know it is possible. In the last 5 to 6 years, I have gone from being a low-level engineer to becoming a director in an American company. I believe every African who migrates to a new country, US, Canada, the UK, Australia, Johannesburg, wherever you are, you deserve opportunity to thrive. And if I can do it, I want to make sure that I can share all my expertise that I use to do it with you so that you can do it as well. We have replicated my successes across the board. I work with over 1,000 people with multiple tons of testimonial. I want to work with you as well. With my little capability, I want to make sure that you're successful. This is goodbye. I appreciate you. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And for those in the US, happy Memorial Weekend and have a nice evening, everyone. Bye now.